You know, it's interesting, it's still April right now, and of course I'm like, whoa, do I release this video in April? It's the tail end of April. I've been waiting to like build up enough stuff to make a part 2, but at this rate it might just be a May part 1, and then May part 2 might be whatever else comes in at the end of May, because I'm used to doing these videos which are like half an hour each. I'm like, I could do like 10 to 15 minutes, it doesn't really matter. So anyway, this is what I've currently gotten, and I'll still be adding stuff to this video, so let's just dive into it. So, to start off, for sale, I love when you can just find shit on eBay that's like a fuck ton cheaper than at most retail stores. So I bought the Scream 4K. The only thing I dislike about this is that it has the HDR on the cover, but it doesn't really take away from anything. I do like the poster, the whole idea of it being just a bunch of people, a bunch of floating faces. It's not great. You know, I probably could have bought the Steelbook for the film, because I bought the Scream 4K Steelbook, but I do have the 4-pack for Scream as well, so, which apparently wasn't released in most countries, and it was basically released only in Australia, where you could get the 4-pack of Scream, which is very weird to me. Apparently it's quite rare now, so I've just put my 4K disc of the original Scream into that set. And, yeah, I don't mind this film. I liked it. I enjoyed it in cinemas. I watched it with a friend who hates slasher films, and he'd never seen any of the other Scream films, so I watched it with him, specifically because I'm like, I know he'll hate it, because he's squeamish and jump scares, but also because we can both poke fun at, like, how obvious the jump scares are and stuff, and it was really fun because of it. Otherwise, I probably would have been quite meh on the film. You know, it's one of those films that you basically need to go in with a tongue-in-cheek aspect of looking at the film while you're watching it, because if you're going for straight horror, then that's dumb on you, because it's a fucking slasher film. Slasher films are not scary. Next up, I got Shang Chi, because despite the fact that I don't care to watch the MCU anymore, I actually enjoyed this film in cinema. I know I have Disney Plus, but my dad hasn't watched this, and he doesn't watch Disney Plus, so I figured I'll buy it because he likes Michelle Yeoh, and he likes, you know, Kung Fu and Asian martial arts and stuff like that, so I figured he'd like it, and we've both been watching a lot of the Tony Leung films from Wong Kar-wai, so I figured that would make it just kind of more appealing to him. So, yeah, and I got the 4K because it was cheaper than the Blu-ray. Well, it was just cheaper. In general, it was like $18, which is really nice. Scream was like 22, I think. Still. I also just bought on Amazon these 3, and a box set, but I'll show off these 3 first, because they had a sale on Amazon for imprint labels. So I got 3 films, one of which I've never seen. No, I got that completely backwards. 2 of which I've never seen, including this one, Drugstore Cowboy, which sounded really interesting. It was like $24, down from like $40, but you can still get it for like $30 at JB Hi-Fi. But I figured, look, you know, it's a decent price for a film. I don't like that they're all usually $30 and whatever, and they're not usually the best transfers in the world. But apparently these ones were actually reviewed on websites, which was nice. It's hard to find a review for a lot of imprint label releases, but these ones, all 3 of these were actually reviewed, and for the most part, a lot of people said they were pretty decent transfers. This one I have actually seen before. This is Let's Scare Jessica to Death. I hate that it's all yellow, but I watched this on the Criterion channel last year. The transfer was fine. I'm pretty sure it's the same transfer that Scream Factory had done, which is the same transfer that this basically has. But this also, outside of having 2 minor dents along the spine, which I don't think you can really make out to some degree, and of course this does have an iconic bloody name. I will note that all the artwork here is basically spoiling the last 5 minutes of the movie. Actually, no, maybe the last 2 minutes just before the credits roll. So, yeah, if you like obscure 70s weird slow burn horrors that are kind of ghost films, it's pretty interesting. For some reason, once it came out on Blu-ray, I was just like, it's a piece of shit film, I'm not going to buy it. I don't know why I thought that, because then I recently looked at my review, because again, I bought this from Amazon for the $29.98, whatever. I could have bought the same price at JB Hi-Fi, but figured while I'm here, I might as well. But I bought it, and I looked at my review from Letterboxd, and I gave it 3.5 stars. I gave it a like. I'm like, hey, this film's actually really kind of cool. I like it. I like the aesthetics it's going for. I'm like, okay. I mean, I remember a lot of the film. It's just, for some reason, I just had a negative perspective on it for some reason. So, nevertheless, I have it now. Even though the cover, I'm not huge on the cover. The green and yellow of it, it's just not great. I think it's more of the theatrical artwork. It's like, oh, this is an iconic image, I guess. But yeah, that's literally the last 5 minutes of the movie, which is kind of weird, but also that last 5 minutes is kind of weird, so, you know, it's not really a spoiler when you don't know what the fuck is happening. And I got Reflection of Fear. A Reflection of Fear. This one's a pretty nice artwork, I will admit. I do like the style it goes for. This one's more of a mystery horror, I believe. It's got very classic artwork on the inside, which is really neat. Always like Imprint for their artwork choices, which I say not ironically because, of course, I don't like the Let's Get Jessica to Death one, but that's just because the artwork for that film in general is pretty shite. Next up, we have Hammer House of Horror, the complete series. I got this for this is out of print from the website, so that's how you know it's out of print, because it's not printed on the website anymore. It's still going for $80 at JB, but I got it for $60, I think, on Amazon. And it's one of their classic Imprint box sets. Really nice design. Instead of having a card here, they just have it all printed on, which is interesting, especially because this is labeled as #1 for their TV show line. So for more than 2 decades, the name Hammer was synonymous with horror. The famed studio's films becoming world famous. In 1980, Hammer was brought to television in this 13-part anthology series under the aegis of producer Roy Skeggs, boasting a consistently high-caliber cast including Peter Cushing, Diana Dawes, Denham Elliott, Brian Cox, Cian Phillips, and more. This is Hammer as you've never seen it, restored in glorious high definition. So 13 episodes. Pretty nice. Again, mine came with a little, you can't really see it. It's got some lines across the front, but it's the kind of sticky where I could do that and you'd have fingerprints all over it, so not too much harm there. Of course, you've got some details there, and the details I just read out as well. I believe these are all region-free. They usually are. And there's a tiny, tiny dent. I was hoping this would come in a box and came in a paper bag. But, you know, it is what it is. Now, as I took this out before, I got to be careful again, because can't really see it, but on the inside of that, just along the inside here, it was actually tearing off. So it hadn't been stuck down properly, so I just sticky taped it back up. It should be alright. Got 3 cases. It's basically the same as a regular thing. You've got volumes, that's part 1 to 5. It actually tells you a brief description of each episode as well, with some images, which is nice. I will only show off the inside artwork for this one, because it's basically just like a wallpaper from a random episode. Then you got part 4 to 10, which is cool. I do like the kind of collage artwork they use. It's really retro. I really like that about it. And of course the last one is part 11 through to 15. 13. Apparently I can't read Roman numerals. But yeah, so pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff indeed. But overall, that is the Hammer House of Horror. I do like Hammer a lot. I'm getting more into them as time goes by. I had, in my previous mail video, bought a couple of Hammer sets and some Hammer films, and I've watched a few of them. Pretty good shit. But in contrast to that, I bought this monolith of a set. Bought it 2 months ago, finally came in. Luckily, no damage whatsoever, which was great, because I could have bought it from Amazon for $50 cheaper, but at the time, I think I got this for $270, $280 on eBay, and it was that was with a coupon and everything. And then a couple of days later, Amazon's like, hey, you could buy this for $220. I'm like, are you kidding me? So, but I don't mind, because this set is gorgeous. Obviously, you got it slides out, so you got some beautiful embossing on it. I've kept it on this portrait side for when I put it on the shelf. So this has 30 films, technically 31, but weirdly a lot of them are copied onto different discs, so because it comes with several different collections. If you know about this set, then you'll know that Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman sets all come with duplicate films. For example, Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman is on both Frankenstein and Wolfman set. House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula are both on all 3 sets because they all involve the same character. I think the Invisible Man is the only exception. I don't think that one has... I'll double check, because technically it was a cameo that the Invisible Man had at the end of the film, but... okay, yeah, so it doesn't have... The Invisible Man one does not have the other Invisible Man film, which is basically the... I think it's House of Frankenstein. Yeah, House of Frankenstein, because that had a cameo by Vincent Price as the Invisible Man. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. I'm thinking of the Abbott and Costello one. Yeah, but it doesn't have the Abbott and Costello one in it. It just has the Abbott and Costello meet the Mummy, not meet Frankenstein, which is also in the Dracula set and the Frankenstein set and all that. But yeah. So sorry, I'm getting a bit mixed up. It comes with all these films. If it helps. It does come with the Spanish version of Dracula as well. It does not come with the original Phantom of the Opera or the original Hunchback, or any Hunchback for that matter. It comes with one version of the Phantom of the Opera. And yeah, it's a really nice set. The only Phantom of the Opera one is in the single case, very much next to the end. Creature comes with all 3 films, which I already have, but this is a slimmer version, but I've kept the Creature one on the shelf over here. So, you know, the British set. These are all region-free as well, and it comes with, of course, a booklet, which if you have the any other, basically, horror sets for classic monsters, you'll already have that booklet. It just details, like, the history of the films and whatever. I have the Essentials set, the one that comes in a coffin shape, which basically just has, like, I think 8 films in it. It has the original Dracula, Frankenstein, Mummy, Invisible Man, Wolfman, and the Creature from the Black Lagoon. I think it comes with the Phantom of the Opera, but it doesn't come with Bride of Frankenstein. I don't think it does. Anyway. But yeah, so these all come with their collection of films. I'll show you the Dracula one, for example. Obviously, you get that, and it'll just tell you on the back, oh, hey, here are all the Dracula films, and here's some special features, which will show you all the stuff. So, yeah. There's not really much point in showing you the rest of them, because they're all exactly the same in that regard. But I am rewatching all of these. I haven't... The only one I've watched of this set currently is The Mummy, because I have Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and the Invisible Man all on 4K UHD. I am watching all of the Universal Monster films now just to get them all out of hand, because there's a lot here and I've only watched a few. I think Frankenstein's the only one I've watched almost every single film of, because we have like the Legacy set for it, whereas I didn't have any of the other Legacy sets, and the only reason we had the Frankenstein Legacy set was because it came with Bride of Frankenstein, which is like the best Universal Monster movie. Even the Invisible Man we never had, so I had bought the Blu-ray differently, and I'd bought Bride of Frankenstein on Blu-ray for myself, but it was a buy two get one free, so I got it for free. And then I bought the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and then I bought the Creature from the Black Lagoon Legacy set so I could get all 3 films. So yes, I do have the Steelbooks up there as well, which comes with the 4K UHDs of the first 4. But not really the first 4, because it doesn't have the Mummy, it has the Wolfman instead, which I kind of have a gripe against that, because I'm like, they easily could have just had the Essentials set, the first set, being like the first 4 ones released, you know, the Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, and the Invisible Man, and then the second set could have been Bride of Frankenstein, the Wolfman, Creature in the Black Lagoon, and Phantom of the Opera. Like, how hard would that have been? But no, they didn't do that, so that's kind of annoying. Instead, they jumped from the Mummy to the Wolfman, and I get it, Mummy's boring as shit, but, you know, kind of dissing your own properties here, not cool. So, yeah, I'm happy to have that now, and now I'm getting to watch all the Universal Monsters. That's great, and they all look fantastic in 4K. I have yet to rewatch the Wolfman yet, because I've only just finished the Invisible Man last night. But I did actually also watch the original Phantom of the Opera, which I have now bought the Blu-ray of for myself, as well as the 2 Hunchback films, the 1923 one and the 1939 one, so they'll be coming in sometime next month. So, yeah, because I want to be a completionist with all these Universal Monsters, even though technically the Phantom and the Hunchback aren't Universal Monsters, but they technically are. Depends which version you're talking about. Alright, we're continuing. We have more stuff. Holy shit. So, first up we have Phantom of the Opera. I bought the Blu-ray. Now that I have the box set. But what I've done differently is I've actually taken out, that's the DVD version of the film. It has a clip here, and I'll show you why, because outside of this also being like the complete edition of the film, basically exactly what I had on DVD, but that was my dad's. So I figured I'd buy the Blu-ray, and I kind of think I'm better off for it. I don't know where I'm going to put that Blu-ray yet. I'm just going to bury it somewhere. But I actually put it in my Phantom of the Opera set. It's kind of weird and annoying in a way, but because I have the whole Universal Monsters box set, I figured I would. I have the benefit of, it comes with the booklet, which is a really nice booklet. So I've just buried that in here, and I've clipped the thing here, so you've got the Blu-ray disc of the film, and you've got the DVD of the documentary, which is the Lon Chaney 1,000 Faces, whilst also having the Blu-ray for the remake. Yeah, the 43 version. Anyway, I just figured because it's a slimmer case and it just can fit in my Universal Monsters set, it's just easier. But once Hunchback comes in, I'm ball-busted. Next up, we have Kyodozu. This is the Kino Lorber release. 2K restoration. I have filmed a Anatomy of a Blu-ray that breaks this down. I mostly only did that because I wanted to listen to the audio commentary because Lee Gambon did the audio commentary, and I bought it the same day that he was working in store, and so I just saw it on the shelf. I picked it up. I'm like, hey, this looks like fun. And he commented on how, hey, that one's a great film. It's got a great audio commentary. I was like, oh, I wonder why you thought that. And I looked and I realized his name was there, and we both had to laugh about it. So he's a good dude. So that's a fun release. Wholeheartedly go check out the Anatomy of a Blu-ray. And next up we have The Wicker Man. This, of course, is the imprint labeled release. Beautiful set. I did not realize that I already had this film in complete edition. Like, this comes with 3 discs, actually 4, because it comes with an extra bonus feature disc. But I already had the Studio Canal 3-disc release, which comes with all 3 versions plus the soundtrack in a sleeve. So that's kind of annoying. Nevertheless, of course, it comes with a card. I did compare the two, but not visually yet. I haven't looked at the visuals of the two. I can imagine that they're probably the same transfer, if not the same encode. I don't know what the encoding would be like and whatever, so I haven't really looked into it. I only got this yesterday, and I've been very busy at work. I guess I'll show these off one by one. So, of course, you get the Wicker Man Final Cut. This is basically the same artwork that the Final Cut version already has, if you get the UK version, or if you get just the Studio Canal version in general. The Australian Studio Canal version, I believe, only has 2 discs, or the limited edition version came with 2 discs. Now there's only a 1-disc version, which is just the Final Cut. The 2-disc version had the theatrical and directors. The 3-disc version, which was only in the UK, came with the soundtrack as well. So, yeah. This is pretty simple stuff. In contrast, if you're interested, to the Final Cut of the Studio Canal version, outside of transfer, which might be the same, might be different encoding, I don't know. It only comes with the only difference is a new audio commentary by BFI film historians Vic Pratt and Will Fowler from 2022. That's the only thing different on this compared to the other Studio Canal release. So if you're particular, if you're particular about that, that's the only difference. Then you've got, outside of the fact that it's got, the imprint version has better packaging and it's all regions and everything, which is also quite nice. So I guess there's a couple more benefits. So this is the theatrical and director's cut versions. This one is basically just the 2 versions in one case. You've got the 1080p high definition presentation of the theatrical cut and the 1080 high definition presentation of the director's cut version of the film, utilizing standard definition material for the additional footage. But the new thing that it comes with is an audio commentary by film critic / historian Kim Newman and author Sean Hogan on the theatrical cut. So the theatrical cut has a audio commentary. Doesn't have an audio commentary on the previous release. Obviously, this is a 2022 version. And last but not least, you have this version, which I think is like the original artwork. I like this artwork a lot. This is the special features and soundtrack. This one's, it's pretty, oh, there's nudity there. Is that nudity? Vaguely. I'm going to just cover that. So you got one disc there, which is the special features disc, and you got the second disc there, which is the music disc. This comes with the director's cut in standard definition, which is really interesting, but just so you have it all in standard definition in one go rather than it cut in between, I guess. But that also comes with audio commentary by actors Christopher Lee, Edward Woodard, and director Robin Hardy. I think it was specifically done, the director's cut on the Studio Canal version has this audio commentary on the director's cut. So yeah, it's kind of annoying if you want to watch the director's cut and have the audio commentary, and then it's like, well, you can't watch it in HD, you gotta watch the standard definition version, so I guess that's kind of a criticism, but outside of that, most of this is, there's a making the director's cut audio commentary featurette, which is not new, neither is the Wicker Man Q&A. I think Folk Musicians Discuss the Wicker Man is also not new, but then there's, everything else is new from, basically, if this can focus, from XS all the way down is almost completely new, except for, I think the last one's the soundtrack. Yeah, the soundtrack, so all of it is basically new. So, yeah. So there is a benefit of a hell of a lot of extra stuff. But the thing is, it still is logoed to have Studio Canal, so I'm pretty certain that these are the exact same bloody discs, just with a few extra bonus features. So I'm on the IMPRINT group on Facebook, and one of the guys was very particular about, like, I need to know what the encoding is like, and all. So I'm like, it's by Studio Canal as well. Like, IMPRINT doesn't make their own releases. Studio Canal does do their own releases and does remaster films, and will occasionally loan those remasters out, much like Criterion and whatever. So it's like, you know, this is a loan out, clearly. It just has extra shit. Nevertheless, I figured it would be worth at least showing that off to some degree. I don't really know how I'm going to put it yet, do I? No. Second last, I guess, for this part. This might be the end of the video. I don't really know. I'll do an outro anyway. I want to do a teaser for something different. I will be doing, very shortly, a video talking about the Creature from Black Lagoon. Maybe specifically, I know I will probably be doing another Universal Monsters collection video, given I've bought a lot more stuff in terms of figurines and movies. So I will be doing another collection for probably both. I figure I'll do a Creature from Black Lagoon one separately, just because I want to have that as an additional thing, because I really love the Creature from Black Lagoon. There's a lot of stuff, alright? So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff. Additionally, I figure I should mention, I'm not going to show off what's in this book for the obvious reason of the title is literally that, but I will note that... Porn. I've bought a handful of books recently as well that I think I might do some vague reviews on. I say vague because I haven't read them. Most of them are comics anyway, so I won't bother about that. But there's some Universal screenplays that I got recently for Creature from Black Lagoon and Hold Back Ghost, so I will be doing a video about the two of them just in one video as a comparison. Like, hey, this is what two different films are in the screenplay version. So that'll be coming out soon as well. I just realized, like, I've been buying a lot of books recently, despite not reading half of them. I bought the Stuntman one by Hal something or other. I'm reading that one, actually. It's really interesting so far. But yeah, so I might do a video in the future, kind of doing an update of my film book collection. Maybe, I don't know. Doesn't really matter too much, but I just figured I want to mention how I'm actually not just buying movies. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it for this clip. So, or it's it for this whole video. If that is the case, thank you so much for watching. Hope you've had a interesting month or 7. Yeah. I've ended this month with a lot of stuff. Selling a lot of steelbooks. Sold my Doom steelbook. Sold my Drive steelbook. and my Spare and Glorious Bastard Steelbook and a couple pop vinyls. So work is picking up, everything's hitting there, so back on track. Cool. I'll see you next time. I'm bloody tired and my new video has just come out. Fuck. Alrighty. See you next time, kiddos. Adios. Don't do drugs.